Someone looks at you and goes, "So, tell me about yourself." And for a second, your brain just shuts down.
Yeah, like you know English, but suddenly you forget all of it.
Exactly. It's such a normal question, but it never feels normal.
Your heart starts beating faster, and you're thinking, okay, where do I even start?
And more importantly, when do I stop? If that's ever happened to you, don't worry. You're not alone. You're listening to the Modern English Podcast. I'm Emma, here with Alex.
Hey everyone, glad you're here. Today we're talking about tell me about yourself. Probably one of the most common questions you'll ever hear.
So let's be honest. Why does this question feel so uncomfortable?
For me, it's because there's no instruction.
Right. No time limit, no example. No one says, answer in 20 seconds.
So people panic. They either talk forever or they freeze and say almost nothing.
I've done both.
Same, more than once.
Some people go into full life story mode, like where they grew up, what their parents do, their hobbies, their future plans.
You can literally feel the other person checking out. They're smiling, but they're gone.
Then there's the opposite answer. I'm a student. I like music. And that's it. Conversation over.
If you've done either of those, it's okay. Everyone starts there.
Honestly, what helped me was not treating this like a test.
Yeah, I stopped trying to give the perfect answer.
Same. I just think about a few things.
Not in order, not perfectly, just who am I right now? What am I doing these days? And one small extra detail. That's usually enough.
It's not a speech. It's just an opening. So, for example, something like, I'm a student right now. I'm focusing on my studies, and lately I've been working on my English, so I feel more confident speaking. In my free time, I like learning new things.
That already sounds normal and human, not memorized, not forced.
But here's something important. That answer changes depending on who you're talking to.
Yes, because one answer does not fit every situation. Like a job interview.
Here, you sound a little more serious. For example, I'm a student. I'm studying business. I'm learning English because I want to work in an international company.
Clear, focused, professional. This is the answer interviewers like to hear.
Now, a casual conversation.
This one is more relaxed, like I'm a student. I study business. I'm learning English because I enjoy it. Much easier and more natural.
Yes, with a teacher, you might focus more on learning. And with a coworker, you focus more on work.
You don't need a perfect answer. In fact, answers change all the time. Today you might say, I'm a student. 6 months later, you might say, I'm working and learning English.
Both are correct because they describe right now.
Yes, same idea, different angle. There's no single correct answer.
A lot of people worry about one thing, though.
Making mistakes?
Yes, they think, what if my English sounds bad? What if people judge me?
Here's the truth. Most people aren't judging you. They're usually nervous too. And honestly, they're just trying to understand you.
Even native speakers feel awkward in first conversations.
So if you make a mistake, it's fine.
There's another reason this question feels difficult.
Yeah, because people think they have to sound interesting.
Exactly. They worry about being boring.
So they start adding details that don't really matter.
Or they force enthusiasm that doesn't feel natural.
Here's something important to understand. Interesting doesn't mean exciting. It means clear. Clear answers feel honest, and honesty is interesting.
You know what's interesting? This question isn't really about English.
Yeah, it's more about connection.
When someone asks, "Tell me about yourself," they're not testing your grammar.
They're just trying to understand who they're talking to. And most of the time, they're listening for one thing, something they can respond to.
Right, a detail they can ask about.
That's why a good answer doesn't try to be impressive, it tries to be open.
There's one part of this question we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, the listening side.
Exactly. When you answer, the other person is already reacting. They're not taking notes. They're deciding, "Oh, I know what to ask next."
Think about the last time someone told you about themselves. You probably don't remember everything. You remember one thing, what they do, what they're studying, or one small detail about them.
This is why copying answers online doesn't work. They sound nice, but they don't sound like real speech. Real answers are flexible. They change depending on the moment. That's how conversations work.
And people always ask, how long should my answer be? Here's my honest take. If you've been talking for more than a minute, you probably lost them. Give enough information and let the other person ask more.
Conversation goes both ways. Here's something people don't usually notice. This question works like a filter. It helps the listener decide what to ask next. So the best answers don't explain everything. They highlight one direction.
One role, one focus. That's why short answers work. They guide the conversation. And once the direction is clear, the other person does the work.
They ask, they respond, and the conversation moves forward naturally. All right, quick role play.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because you are the one who's gonna answer the question.
Wait, me? Okay. Why does this feel like a trap?
Because it is. So, tell me about yourself.
Sure. I work in customer support. I talk with international clients, so I've been improving my English to communicate more clearly. And yeah, I like learning new skills.
That's perfect.
Not perfect English, just clear. One thing that really helps? Don't answer immediately.
Yeah, pause for a second. It doesn't feel awkward to them. It actually makes you sound confident. All right, your turn. Pause this episode for a second. Answer out loud. Tell me about yourself.
No pressure, no perfection. Just be clear.
Remember, this question isn't about impressing anyone. It's just the start of a conversation.
Confidence doesn't come from sounding smart. It comes from sounding real.
Oh, wow, look at the time.
Already? Time flies faster than we think.
It really does. But before we go, we have a little homework for you.
Homework? I'm still tied up with other homework.
Don't worry, this one is fun and very simple. We want you to practice in the comments.
Yes, please leave a comment below.
Answer this question. Tell me about yourself. And try using the three-part structure. Who am I right now? What am I doing these days? And one small extra detail.
We love reading your stories, and we'll try to reply to you.
Yes, we really will. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe Modern English Podcast.
And share it with your family and friends. Maybe you can practice with them.
Oh, and ask them, have you subscribed yet?
Good question.
Thank you so much for listening today.
And we'll see you in the next episode.